there, my name's Jill Tiny. I'm from Collaboration Global, and this is our podcast, Being Human, Hidden Depths. I'm going to be interviewing some of our members from Collaboration Global, and they're going to be sharing with you their extraordinary lives. Although they would probably believe they're just normal, everyday, average humans, but they are extraordinary. A bit like you and me. We all have our story to tell. We've all been through difficult times, and we've come out the other end having learnt an extraordinary amount about ourselves that we can share with others. So I think you'll find lots of things that will resonate with where you've been in your journey as well. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Hello and welcome back to Being Human, Hidden Depths by Collaboration Global and me, Jill Tiny. Today we have somebody who isn't a member of Collaboration Global for a change. Maybe he will be one day. I live in hope. Welcome, Dwayne Chambers. Lovely to have you on the call today.
Morning, Jill. Well, it's not morning, it's afternoon now, isn't it?
Just about, yeah.
Just about. It is.
Getting hungry for your lunch.
Literally. Yeah, thanks for having me on board.
It's really lovely. So we met by a mutual friend, Fatima Whitbread. We were at her event at the Shard not so long ago, and then we bumped into each other again. So to me, that's fate. If you meet twice in the same week, for goodness sake, the universe is trying to tell us something. First and foremost, how did you, obviously from a sporting background, and I guess you've met Fatima on the circuit, as they say, but what got you involved with her fabulous campaign that she's doing at the moment?
So to put it into perspective, I met Fatima as both she and I and some other celebs were on a reality TV show some time ago called Celebrity SAS Who Dares Wins.
Yeah.
And with Fatima being such a pivotal icon in my sporting career as a youngster coming up,
yeah,
I'd always seen her as somebody that was amazing and fantastic in what she was doing. And from an individual perspective, seeing her stand up and do what she did resonated with me and my ability to go out and perform on the track.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I had the opportunity to meet Fatima on Celebrity SAS Who Dares Wins, I was just like, oh my gosh, you have no idea how much of a role model you was for me, just from a visual perspective, being on the television.
Yeah.
And then we hit it off like a house on fire off the back of that. And then since then, Fatima's gone on to put forward her campaign for children in care. And she's continuously supported me, and I've supported her in the same breath.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, it's really interesting, that program, because when I first saw you at the Shard, I mean, I'm not a great sports follower, so I don't know everybody, and I went, your face looks really familiar, and I couldn't work it out, and everyone else go, oh my god, it's Dwayne. Like, who's this guy? So apologies for not recognizing you, the celebrity that you are. But
actually forget my profile and how much of a impact I've had on people in sport. To me, I'm just Dwayne. I go home, I cook, I clean, I take out the rubbish.
Yeah.
I ferry my kids all over the place. So for me, I forget my profile. I'm just a normal person.
Yeah.
You know, so when people walk past me in the street and they double take, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. You know, they saw me on the television or grown up watching me.
I'm on the tour. Yeah. But I must admit, I did milk it a little bit when I saw you the second time, and I said, oh look, there's Dwayne over there. I said to my husband, this woman went, oh, do you know him? I went, oh yeah, we go.
Yes, I do. I actually do.
I've met him once. That's all I've met him once. But that's where I recognised you from, was that Who Dares Wins SAS thing.
Yeah.
Because I've only watched one episode of that, and that was the one with Fatima.
Right.
And that blew me away. She blew me away in that program. And I remember there was one scene where the two main guys on it pulled her to one side and said, we've got to get you out. You can't stay in it. But, you know, we're doing this for your benefit because we recognize you're not going to stop. Oh, and you need to stop. So they were both like, you're our favorite. You're the best one here. We think you're amazing. And you could see this love that they had for her in this whole program. Did you get to the end? I don't even know. Did you get?
I got to day 5, and unfortunately, both myself, Fatima, and another contestant, we broke our ribs on day 2 when we had to jump out the helicopter.
Oh my goodness, I remember that now. Yeah,
we wanted to jump out the helicopter. One, the celebrities had to get sent home because he got seriously hurt. And then the other 3 of us fractured our ribs during our stay.
And you carried on.
So I had to bail out early because I just couldn't handle it. And then Fatima obviously went the next day.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So that brings me to the realization and the acknowledgement that athletes of your caliber have something going on different up there and in
Yeah.
here than Joe Blogs, Joe Public out there.
Mm.
I'm on LinkedIn, you're on LinkedIn, but a lot of people on LinkedIn are talking about procrastination and how to overcome it and da da da. I'm guessing that you don't have procrastination, that you set your mind to something. Has that always been the case, or have you learned that as part of
We
your career?
I say we as athletes because when you put us in that category, we're all the same. We
Yeah,
just challenge, we go about things differently. But yes, we procrastinate because we're still human.
cool.
However, our the time frame within our procrastination phase is it's less than
Yeah,
probably everyone else's. Whereas we quickly realize that the longer we wait, the more we're going to be exposed in the day of competition.
yeah, yeah.
And
So you're
especially in the sport world of athletics, it's somewhat of an individual because you are the only person on that start line. Then you're going to
mm,
be exposed.
mm,
Whereas if you're in a team, you can somewhat hide because everyone else can pull their socks up and you can quite easily maneuver yourself within it and only give part effort. Whereas when you're on the start line with 100 meters, if you haven't done the work, you'll be exposed and you will get
yeah.
found out. So we realize that and we have a vision of not doing well. And that's what initially gives us that kickstart to get up and be like, I need to fix this. I want to fix this and I'm going to fix it.
So is it a case of I don't want to be found out, or I want to be the best, I want to be a winner, or do they kind of morph into one into the other?
They morph, they hit certain personalities in our inner self. We have multiple personalities that we have to deal with. We
Right.
have the motivational side, we have the procrastination side, we have the character in us that wants to sit and just be unhealthy and unfit. We have all these personalities that we have to manage.
Yeah.
And then typically, once we've had these conversations with ourselves, we learn to brush away all the ones that aren't necessary and helping us. And then we focus on the one that's getting us up every day and pushing us towards our goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I see that. It's kind of no choice attitude, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
why am I giving myself a choice? You just make it, it's like Chinese torture. I don't know if you're allowed to say that anymore. I don't know. It's that kind of, why would you make yourself pause and delay the agony? Just get on with it and get the job done.
Absolutely. Get on with it. And it is tough because
Mm,
you're every day going to do an event or a sport or any activity that's going to include that involves hurt. You're physically putting yourself through stress
yeah.
with no guarantee that you're going to perform at the end of the day because injuries occur, incidences with life-changing incidences occur,
Yeah.
financial, family, things always crop up. And it's your ability to negotiate yourself above it or below it or around it, but still keep going forward. And
Yeah.
that's what the good ones are able to do.
Yeah.
However, with youngsters, they have more of a challenge with that because they haven't got the life skills or the experience. So that's where coaching comes in and then pushing them forward to, still continue to go forward, which gives them the life skills for activities later on in life.
And that's, guess what you're doing now, isn't it? You're helping other people to become the best athlete that they can be.
Well, more than just being the best athlete they can be, I'm getting them to be the best person they can be because there is life after sport.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize that for a long time. I was just hell bent on becoming the best, and I cared very little or didn't give outside life any consideration because I just thought this was all I'm ever going to do.
Wow.
And in my case, where my suspension took place, it gave me a harsh reality on how the impact of your decisions, how you negotiate yourself pre, during, and after an incident. That is
Yeah.
the hardest thing, and that nobody can prepare you for.
Yeah.
Because once you've gone through a situation like that, there's very few people, if any, that are qualified to manage you during a period of time like that.
Yeah. So for those that don't know the story, you ended up being suspended for was it a drug violation?
Yes, so in 2002, at the age of 23 years old, I made the decision to take performance enhancers.
Ah,
Now, making that decision, I was very much aware of what I was doing. I just
yeah,
didn't anticipate the impact that it was going to have, A, on the sport, B, on my sponsors, C, the fans, and
yeah,
D, myself. I had
yeah,
no idea. I just thought, I can get away with this. But deep down, I knew it was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
There were alarm bells ringing, but you just think, I don't want to be. I guess at the time, we're talking over 20 years ago now, I had a case of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yes.
Because I had 5 other males that were running faster than me.
Right.
And coming from when I was winning gold, silver, and bronze medals, I was now finishing 4th and 5th and out of the elite pact, if you could put it that way. That when hurt. Really I wasn't.
Yeah, your ego was.
I felt as though I was. So, with that being the case, I thought if I don't do this, I'm gonna be 6th in the world, 7th in the world, and I lost my identity there.
Yeah, that's a big thing, actually, isn't it? It's not just about the placement where you're coming. It's that naivety at that age, because really you're just a kid, aren't you? At 23, for goodness sake. You didn't have the right people around you that had already guided you to why on earth would you do something like that. But there was your ego at play, but also you probably didn't think at that point you had much option, because that was your future and that was where you had to be, and you had to be, you know, one of the medal places. It must have been such a lonely place for you at that time.
It was challenging, very challenging. And ultimately the decision boiled down to me. Yes, I was 23 years old. I could have asked the question to the right people. But as a 23-year-old, and even now sometimes as an adult, you deliberately avoid asking questions of certain people because you know the answer they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
And at that time, I knew if I'd spoke to my mum or my manager at the time, he would have told me the answer I didn't want to hear. So I deliberately avoided those people. When effectively, I should have asked those people. But they would have told me, if you do that, this is what you're preparing to sacrifice. When deep down, I knew this.
Yes. But you just didn't want to hear it again, did you?
I just didn't want to hear it. And I'd already painted an image of what my life would have been like if I hadn't have done this. So the image of what my life could have been like without doing this, making decision, became a natural feeling. It was a visual. So I'd painted it so clearly that there was no other option for any other option or any other.
You talked yourself into it, basically.
Effectively. I'd created this image.
We're all very good at that. We're all very, very good at that. I think everyone can identify with, you know, this mistake you made. You know, we've all been in that space, and then, you know, beforehand it seemed like the obvious thing to do, and afterwards it's like, how the hell did I ever get into that space? You just can't see it because you choose not to see it.
You choose not to see it, and it's unfortunately it's a culture and it's a habit that we all fall into in terms of how we view ourselves. And unfortunately, I say in sport, but in life, we're not given another option in terms of how to think differently. So now over time, I've learned how to think about how I think. Think about how I'm thinking and why I'm thinking this way.
That's powerful.
You know, so when I think about making a knee-jerk reaction and responding to an email out of venom, I think if I do that, what message am I putting across? And how do I want to be seen? And how do I want to educate this person to think differently about how they respond?
Yes, exactly. I mean, at our community at Collaboration Global, we have different kind of guidelines and behaviors that we like to adhere to, but first and foremost, we're human beings. So basically that means we muck up, you know, and we kind of come to the room when you're having a conversation, and sometimes we dip into controversial stuff just to see who gets fired up and who gets triggered. And we've got all of our back history that is going to join us when somebody says something that is just like, ugh. And then you say, well, actually, if you imagine that we're all sitting here on a foundation of love. So we only want the best for each other. And now imagine there is no right or wrong in the world. There is no right or wrong. So you can't say that's rubbish. You can't say you're wrong and I'm right, because in this space, it doesn't exist. So now what could happen? You become curious. You become thinking about the future and how that might look. You become vulnerable around other people because you're actually saying what you're thinking and not what your ego is telling you to say. And you're being courageous because you're stepping out of your protective space and going, I don't know, I mucked up, this went wrong, I wish I hadn't done that. And then from that place, everybody just lifts up and becomes this greater being, because they're standing on the shoulders of giants by looking at other people going, oh, he did that, I've done that, oh my God, yeah, and she said that, and oh, I know exactly what you mean. And together, being human, connecting with love, which is our superpower, we see that there is nothing that can't be overcome. Nothing, no disagreement. We've had Brexit conversations, I'm for and I'm against, and we, at the end of the conversation, everyone stood up and gave each other a hug, even though they hadn't necessarily changed what they were going to vote. This was literally the day after the vote, and there were some very upset people in the room. We've had conversations around Black Lives Matter, which caused a few tears. We've had the Me Too movement conversation. We've had Trump versus Kamala Harris, and what that was interesting. So being able to have those conversations, but not from a point of accusing anyone, but from a point of, I've just been triggered and it's actually quite upsetting. But I want you, can you explain what you meant by that? Because I don't really get it. And the other person that's just said something is realizing they've triggered somebody and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you, but and then you unpack what's going on. Exactly as you're saying, you've read something and you're like, don't respond, don't react, just respond. Okay, I'm going to walk away, I'm going to calm down, then I'm going to come back and think about it. Actually, that doesn't need an email response, that needs a phone call, or that needs a, shall we go for a coffee and have a conversation? It's a different ball game. So I just wish people could understand what you've been through that makes you realize that, you know, maybe it's just maturity that you get older and you.
But equally, I've found over time, and the more I do talks on these topics, and the more I listen to podcasts and audio books and the nature of human nature, what triggers people. I know what triggers me, and a lot of it has come from insecurities.
Yeah, sure.
And a lot of my insecurities stem from childhood, the things I didn't get. And if left unchallenged, they continually erupt like a volcano.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had trigger words like drug cheat and you're no good. You're a dunce. Those are what languages that I'd grown up hearing. So I naturally became a pleaser.
Yeah.
But in those instances, as I became a pleaser and wanted to please people, I was neglecting myself and essentially lying. Because I was just saying things just to please people, so I didn't have to experience those emotions that triggered me to become envious of other people. So over time and going through what I've gone through with my situation, I've now realized certain words trigger me and why they trigger me.
It's interesting.
So then I got help with that. So I saw a psychologist who continuously said those words to me, and I had to paint an image in my mind of how I would respond when I heard those words.
Yeah.
I had two options. Well, I had several options because multiple personalities erupted off the back of this.
Yeah.
And I learned to tame those emotions and control them. Not even so much control them, but educate those emotions.
Yes. Take the sting out of them.
Take the sting out of them. And I took the sting out of them by talking to them.
Oh, cool.
Why is Dwayne angry? Why is this young Dwayne still erupting from a child?
Yeah.
Because of things that were said to me when I was a youngster. So I spoke to Dwayne. And the trick behind what I got help with psychologically was going into myself. So I was hypnotized.
Right. And
that hypnosis took me to a place where I had to sit down and I could go back to when I was about 14 years old.
Yeah.
And I remember having a short white t-shirt on and Bermuda shorts. Oh. And I can remember the first time I've been called a cheat or an idiot. I can remember it. And then now the instructor taught me to hear that word and instead of being angry, smile at it.
Okay.
I was replacing it with a different emotion, a different feeling, a different response.
Yeah.
Which now, over time, saturated my system.
Yes.
Like taking in loads of vitamin C, you oversaturate yourself.
Yeah.
So then the behavior carried forward to this moment, to today. So I no longer get triggered by certain words and certain behaviors. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm human. Certain things now trigger me. Tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I now have coping mechanisms in place that I've learned from over time that I now talk about and offer as advice because I ain't the only one that's going through this stuff.
No, for sure.
Oh, I'm not the only one that goes through these things. And with the male species not wanting to communicate and talk a lot.
This is true.
I realized, mate, if I keep this in, I'm going to do something reckless.
Yeah. and damage not only to possibly somebody else, but also damage to you internally, because it doesn't go away. That anger has got to go somewhere. And
I realized the damage to me I can keep contained, but it's the effects it has on other people, my kids, my wife, people working with me that put their time and effort into me.
Yeah.
People that I coach, because however I am, it's gonna, that aura is gonna translate into other people, and they're gonna feel it and see it, and they think that's normal behavior, and it's not.
That is so true. That is so true. I mean, I remember once when I had some not therapy as such, I don't know what you call it. I was on a little mini course, and there'd been a knot inside of me around my childhood, and I hadn't realized it because I'd got so used to it being there, until I had this opportunity. And we went through this activity that I would recommend to anybody. When you've got someone you can't forgive, someone that's upset you, someone that triggers you, and there could be three different things, but you go through this activity where you go to your happy place. And for me, that was by the coast with having a paddle on beautiful sand. The sea was blue, everything, glorious day. And in the distance, you can see just that person that gets to you coming towards you, and your initial reaction is like, no, I don't want to talk to them, but they're getting closer and closer and closer. And as they arrive, you look them in the eyes. They're the same height as you, even if you're tall or short or whatever. You look them in the eyes and you say, I forgive you.
Yeah.
And then they just go away again.
Yeah.
You do that 5 times, right? Yeah. And I know as I'm doing it, I'm getting annoyed that I'm doing it again. She's telling me, go forward, go back, da, da, da. This is taking about half an hour. And I've forgiven this person. In the end, as each time occurs, you're unpacking it in your mind. Why did I get cross? Why did I get upset? Why has this happened? And truly, by the 4th and 5th time, you are truly, truly forgiving them. And then this person goes away again and then comes back again. And eventually you realize it's not that person anymore. It's you as a child.
Yep.
And you look yourself in the eyes and you say, I forgive you. Because there has to be an element of saying sorry to yourself and forgiving yourself for being that person back then that you're not now. And again, 5 times you go back and you forgive yourself, and it's so cathartic. It's not true. And that wasn't within hypnotism, but it felt like it was, it felt like I'd been doing it for hours, and it was like about half an hour, the whole process. But I know exactly what you mean. It's that bottling up, that hanging on to, because like a drug, you kind of get used to it being there.
Yes.
And it's like, it's hard to give it up, because this becomes part of who you are. And you become self-righteous about it. And it's them over there that have done this to me. And it's like, well, actually, you kind of did it to yourself, you know? There's an element that you have to take responsibility for. So I'm curious now, after when you were this young 23-year-old and you've been suspended and you've gone, oh my God, my life's over, what am I going to do? And you come back into the game, literally the game of running. How did you come at that age? Did you have the support around you to start over? Did you mentally have to fight hard to get back in that zone again?
Well, in terms of support, that came in the shape and form of my now wife and the birth of our first son, Sky.
Bless her.
If it wasn't for me meeting my partner at the time, but now my wife, and the conversations we had, with her experience in life being completely different to sport, our conversations were different.
Of course.
Our interaction was different because it had anything to do with sport. She didn't ask me about sport, so I didn't have to talk about it. And with that being the case, it gave me the opportunity to look at life from a different perspective. Because all I knew was turning up on time, getting the training session done, going to the therapist, all these things that had to be structured. So I no longer had structure. So that in itself threw a challenge to me. I had to learn to negotiate, and being out in the big wild world, and then becoming a father for the first time and being responsible for somebody else other than myself.
You've got to keep a human alive. It's really hard, isn't it?
So that in itself changed me. And without realizing it, I wanted change, but I just didn't realize it was going to come in the shape and form of another human being.
Wow.
Once that took place, my focus then became on, right, I've made this decision. There's nobody else to blame. And the acknowledgement to that blame came in shape and form of what I do in a lot of my talks now. It's called 4 fingers and 1 thumb. So during my time getting back into the sport, there was a lot of media attention surrounding my return. Again, I was not engineered in any way, shape, or form to negotiate all of these conversations that were being had or asked of me. Why am I returning to the sport? You owe a lot of money, you've cheated, you've done all these things. And I wasn't engineered to handle that. So that in itself threw a whole new episode of emotions that I couldn't handle. So
nowadays people get media training and stuff, don't they? And they get guided around all of these things. So you were sort of thrown to the lions, really.
Now, that's great, but I still find it's just putting a plaster over the wound, because you're being told what to say, but you're still not addressing the issue.
Yeah.
You're just skirting around it.
Yeah.
So until you come out and be honest about the situation, you're always going to be skirting around it. And there's going to come a point where you're going to be like, sod this, I've had enough. This is what happened. And this is what happened in my case. I had my lawyer at the time say it was a mistake. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was happy to go along with that. But it came a point I was like, that's not true.
Yeah.
And I can continue to cover this up. Or there's going to come a point, B, with my son or whoever's going to ask me what really happened. I'm going to have to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, agony.
I said, all right.
Yeah.
We've held the truth for a long time, so sod it. This is what happened.
Well done.
And as a result of that, my suspension then went from 2 years to a further 8.
8? Sheesh. Was that effectively your career over?
Pretty much.
Oof. Wow.
So you tell your children to be honest when you do wrong, and sometimes
it's hard.
Honesty comes up and bites you in the butt.
Yeah.
However, from it, I now walk with no skeletons in my closet. I can openly talk to anyone about the situation.
Yeah, that's freedom.
That's freedom for me.
Freedom right there. Yeah.
And in a society where everything's covered up and laden and it doesn't look real, these youngsters now need to hear like the consequences of their actions, because it's not all pretty.
Yeah.
And the sooner they can hear that and knowing the steps they can take to improve, you can't really avoid certain things. Sometimes you just got to go through it.
Yeah. And that's what makes you who you are today. Yeah. And that's why people can be inspired by you, because you have laid it all out.
Yeah. I just tell it as it is to them, because you can protect them as much as you want, but at some point they're going to take that step out of that nest and they're going to fall. And hopefully when they fall, they'll be like, they'll remember the words of Dwayne or Jill or mum or dad.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, okay, I need to get up now.
Yeah.
And I decided I'm going to get up and do something about it. And I did.
And at the same time, in your career, you have made some amazing world records and wonderful achievements that no one can take away from you. It's you were there, you did it, you were the one that got them. So your son has still got a lot to look up to you for. But probably the thing that he will remember most is the honesty. That's a gold medal that you can't take away. I
think so. And I've always told him, like, if you do something wrong, confess and own up, because you are strong enough to handle any punishment that comes your way. Because over time, people will forgive. They may not forget. And even if they don't forget, at least they've seen the person you were then and the person you've now become.
Yes.
And when they can see that journey, they'll be like, yeah, he or she has been an example of what happens when things don't go well and the steps he or she has taken to get themselves back. Mm-hmm. And nobody will forget what I've done, but they will see the transition, the journey that shows how strong and amazing human beings are, because we can overcome everything and anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So in your work now, working with young people in athletics and beyond, and obviously other people that are just getting their head in the right place for whatever goals they've got to achieve, looking at athletics as a whole, how do you feel about the future when you consider how prolific drugs are around now and how we've got so many, the Olympic Committee and the restrictions and the gender conversation? How do you feel about the future of athletics going forward?
Good question, and a tricky one for me to answer. However, I stay away from the political side of sport. Mm-hmm. And just use athletics training as a vehicle for teaching them life skills. giving them some consistency, giving them some structure. I found just through conversations through some of the youngsters that we and the team coach, this is the place where they come and they're not judged.
Yeah.
They get judged when they're at home. They get judged at school.
Yeah.
They get judged for their postcode or school that they go to out on the road when they're out on the street.
Yeah.
However, when they come here, they're not judged and they somewhat feel safe. So I use this as a place to be like, all right, fine, what's going on? Talk to them, show them, give them the tools.
Yes.
To try and negotiate their way better in school. When you're confronted with a situation, what do you say? How do you act? How do you perform? And they seem to resonate with that because every week they come back. And again, like I illustrated earlier, they're physically putting themselves through discomfort by running hard and throwing up and feeling all forms of lactic acid and injury, but yet they still come back. So there's something that's triggering them to want to do this because they feel comfortable where they are.
Do you think they're proving something to other people or proving something to themselves?
It could be a combination of both. It could possibly be also proving something to themselves. They see their friends doing it and they want to do it. I talk to them about the potential that they have. Get them to use their imagination. Could you imagine yourself in a year's time that having your Great Britain vest, going to competing in Birmingham, going to compete in Manchester?
Yeah.
Now they're starting to imagine doing things outside of their area.
Yes.
A lot of them don't go anywhere beyond their area.
Yeah.
They may go on holiday with their family, but outside of that, they're going to do something that takes them outside of their circle, not only in their area, but in their mind, and expanding that. So for them, there's an opportunity for me to do something here. And I've got this guy or part of the DCPA team that believe in me. They may not have that at home.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing, isn't it? You hear that about teachers as well. When everyone remembers that one special teacher that made a difference in their life. And it's having that space where they can feel comfortable and somebody sees something in them that is like, you're good at this.
Yep.
This is your mojo. This is your thing.
Yep.
That can give you the key to the door to something different to what you're experiencing right now. And that travel, as you say, if they travel to different places, broadens the mind, doesn't it? They get to meet new people. They get to see other people doing this kind of thing. It's like, well, I could do that as well. It's incredible.
If it wasn't for my former primary school teacher, Mr. Dave May, I remember not too long before he passed away, he said, Dwayne, I saw something in you that I couldn't see in myself.
Oh, how lovely.
I said to him, if it wasn't for you taking me to that track in 1994 and introducing me to Chris, I would not be here.
Yeah.
I would not be here.
No.
Doing what I do. Because if it wasn't for you taking me there, I wouldn't be doing sport.
We all need that someone that's going to have faith in us, to see that thing in us that we don't see in ourselves.
There you go.
I remember when I was a primary school teacher, there was a kid in our class, Sam, bless him, naughtiest kid in the class. He was always in trouble about something or other, but he was hilarious. But you put him out on the track, oh my goodness, he could throw so far, he could run so fast. And everyone was like, oh, Sam's going to win that. What's the point doing this race? Sam's going to win it anyway, you know. And so every time he was in the classroom and he couldn't hold his pencil properly or he couldn't sit still for 2 minutes, I'm like, look, you are brilliant out there. Now bring some of that in here and see what you can do. And when he kind of realized, it's like, she's seen me. She's seen me and who I am. I'm not stupid. I just can't do it. Now, we worked out later on, yes, he had dyslexia and all the other stuff that made him naughty in the classroom, but he was able to shine in front of his teammates, his classmates out there. And no one could take that from him. And every time I was out there, I was always praising him. And everyone's like, oh, miss, he's so good. Oh, it's so annoying. I'm like, yeah, but he's just brilliant. And you're brilliant at literacy and you're brilliant at maths and you're brilliant. Everyone's got something.
Absolutely.
And just finding it and opening it up.
And sometimes that's what it takes, because we all have a vision of something in our mind that we want to do, but we're afraid of the reaction when we tell our friends.
Yes.
And by you telling Sam that he was good, that was all he needed to hear.
Yeah.
And it's the same with some of these youngsters I have here on a weekly basis. Their friends tell them they're rubbish at this X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it comes from your parents and those members of the family. They tell you you're rubbish. And I found over time that people say these things to you because they lack confidence in themselves.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when you come forward with a dream, they tell you it's rubbish, it's not going to work, because they lack the capacity to do it themselves. Yeah. So that in itself shuts your dream down.
Yeah.
But when you continue to talk about it or do it, somebody will eventually see it.
Yeah.
And that's why I believe that whatever ambition you've got, keep walking, keep talking, because somebody will see you. And all you need is that one person say, I like what you're doing, I believe in you, I'm going to help you.
Yeah. And you know what? Even if you don't know what you want to do yet, you haven't found what your mojo is, you haven't found what you're good at. I believe everyone has got a genius inside of them, and
Yeah.
somebody else will generally spot it. And you don't always know what it is, but you can still have ambition for yourself. I remember when I was about 5, my mum said to me once, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I said, and then my dad was a docker, right? The worst job in the world because they're always out on strike. It was a tough job and it was awful hours, cold, wet, miserable, strong man. He was very good at his job. So I said, I'm going to be a docker when I grow up. And they all laughed at me, obviously. And one, why would you want to do that? But two, only men can do that. So I said at 5, well, I'll be the first woman then.
Oh.
So I didn't know if I was good at picking things up and moving things around. I'm not, as it turns out. But I had the ambition that
Yes.
it was gonna something. I'd have something, but I wasn't gonna let anyone tell me no.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is finding out what your mojo is. You might have to wait till you're 50. Hello.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to work it out.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, doesn't stop you trying things and
Absolutely.
having a go. And even if somebody says you're rubbish or you can't, that's the worst thing. Can't do that. You can't do that. Why not? Tell me why not? What's stopping me in putting in the way? And having that ambition will get you through most of life, the ups and the downs and the everything in between. You've got to have faith in yourself, because sometimes we don't have somebody around us to go on, you can do it. We all need that person. We all want that person, but some people don't have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's where Fatima was. I think she had something in her that was going to get her by. And she found the people along the way that gave her the stepping stones to keep going and get by, and to become this strong woman that she is today. The strong woman that you met on the SAS program.
Yeah, absolutely.
The strong woman that's what's she doing? She's got another challenge going on. I think she's camping on a glacier in Norway or something. I don't know.
Love her.
Yeah, she's incredible. What she does, but it's this strength of character that we all have access to. We can all harness it. And I think what you've been through just demonstrates that completely. And what I love is now you're paying it forward.
Yeah.
And you know, if we're all human beings on this planet and we're all connected by our superpower, that's love.
Yeah.
Then that's all we're here for, is to help other people. And what we learn, we pay it forward. And you're just perfectly demonstrating that.
I think so. And I think it's almost a responsibility while you have this time on the earth to whatever experiences you've gone through, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
To share it, because at some point somebody's going to be coming across a path in their life and they're going to see or hear your story, and it makes them realize that no, they're not the only one.
Yeah.
That's going through this. Because sometimes when you hit a wall and you feel that you're the only one,
awful.
No, you feel that this is just happening to me and me and only, because so many people have gone through the same thing and not spoke about it.
Yes.
Now with social media and all these podcasts that are available to people, people now start to see, wow, that person's gone through it too. And these are the steps that they took to overcome the obstacle. So I think social media from that standpoint is fantastic.
Yeah, that's true.
Gives a platform for people to see other people
recovering
challenges and obstacles and found a coping mechanism to get through.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm all for that.
So one of the things we did recently was there was a summit by the World Mental Health Forum, and we spoke a lot, not necessarily about the lowest of the lows, but how to get out of things, how to kind of go from, you're never going to go from extreme grief to joy in a heartbeat. You know, it's a bit of a journey and you're going to take stepping stones to get there. When you were at your lowest and you thought your career was over, what did you take on board that helped you take that first step, that helped you get out of bed in the morning? What do you remember what it was?
Well, I spent a long time avoiding it. And that came in the shape of form of just hanging out with my friends all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to, in fact, I didn't want to come to terms with what had happened.
Yeah.
A lot of it stemmed from this embarrassment, sheer embarrassment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once my friends had said, look, Dwayne, we've had enough of partying and staying at your house. We need to go and live our own lives. Only about 6 months.
You got dumped.
Yeah, literally, it was about 6 months.
Wow.
Excuse me, post-ban, everyone was like, yeah, I've had enough now. And then once I was at home on my own, that's when the reality of everything kicked in. Because all the thoughts, all the demons were kept quiet by all the other external noise from my friends.
Yeah.
True. And then once the noise of my friends had gone away, all the demons came out the closets and started to haunt me. And then the reality of what I'd done really hit home. So that had me locked down for another 3 or 4 months. I just freaking cried all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, I cried a lot, man.
That's so healing. And that's so what a lot of men in particular are scared of doing.
Yeah,
it's like once you start, I'm never going to stop.
Yeah, I cried a lot, man.
Good.
And that was just all built up from childhood as well.
Yeah.
So I just cried and I was like, okay, I've had enough of watering the plants. What am I going to do now? And I thought to myself, look, what did you do to get yourself to be the best? And then I asked myself this question and the answer was, I just got up and trained.
Yeah.
I thought, right, that's what you got to do.
Here we go.
You have to start training again. But with that, I now had a new challenge to not only train myself on the track, I had to train myself to be comfortable in front of the media.
Yeah.
So now, as I was improving myself, I had to upscale and add on new hardware and ammunition to what I was doing and educate myself in that field. And a lot of it just came from not just learning to manage the media, but being honest with myself. That was the hardest thing, admitting to myself.
Yeah.
Because I can admit it in front of a television because I'm programmed to deal with that. But to admit it to myself was the hardest challenge I had to face. And once I'd done that, I realized I was like, okay, I'm confident at this. I can do this. You know, I know I've done wrong, but there is life after mistakes.
Yeah, there has
so
to
I realized that. I thought, right, as long as I stick to this, then I can always pull through.
Right.
And over time, it's funny because I was reading this newspaper article years ago, and I noticed that every time prior to me acknowledging that I was the afflictor here, I saw myself pointing my fingers at other people. And I say this in my talks. And it dawned on me that every time I was pointing a finger at other people, there were 3 fingers pointing back at me.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, it's perfect.
And I've said this in my talks before.
Yeah.
And when I saw those 3 fingers pointing back at me, it asked me 3 key questions. Why am I here? What am I going to do about it? And where do I start? And the answer was, why am I here? Is because I chose to dope. I lost confidence in myself.
Yeah.
And I was envious of other people.
Yeah.
That's why I chose to dope. The next finger asked me, what am I going to do about it? And that was take accountability, be honest, and build bridges. And then the last thing asked me, where do I start? And I thought, I just got to start now. So I made phone calls, I wrote emails, apologized in aid to my teammates.
Wow.
That's once I'd done that and I'd addressed these, and some of them are still ongoing.
Yeah.
There was no need for me to point the finger anymore.
No.
I've acknowledged my errors, my shortcomings.
Yeah.
And then once I realized I didn't need to point, the thumb indicated that I was good to go. So 4 fingers and 1 thumb was the answer to my problem. And that was it.
Oh, I love that, Dwayne. That is so true, because that's our initial reaction, isn't it? It's like, well, I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for her. Wouldn't have done it if she said, it's so easy to point the finger at other people, but we just have to, Gina Gardner, she always talks about radical responsibility. And you have to be responsible for yourself in all areas. And it's not just I'll take responsibility for that. It's a radical responsibility. It's owning up. It's saying sorry. Yep. It's going out to people, making those phone calls and sitting down and having the hard conversations. And that is when your soul can go, okay, let's get on and start again.
Yep. That's what it was. I just started again. And I was okay starting again because I knew when I'd done things the right, when I stayed on path. Yes, we have our little wobbles. But I was able to get back on the motorway and not take too much time off that exit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Typically, I know that's a glitch that I have. Sometimes when I'm easily distracted.
Oh, yeah.
When I go on my path, something shiny or bright or exciting will draw me left. And I'll leave all my ideas on the motorway and start fresh over there. And I'm like, no, stop doing that.
Yeah.
Stop doing that. If you're going to go left, bring all your luggage with you. Explore it. Go off the motorway, take a little look. Yep. Does that align with what I want to go with? Nope, I get back on my way and carry on. And that's what I've learned to do.
That's a really good expression. I like that. I've been told before, because I'm a great bright, shiny object person. I'm scared of missing out, FOMO. And one of the ladies I was working with said, Jill, that's below your pay grade. Stop looking at it.
I like that.
Oh, okay. So focus. What are you there for? Do what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. And you get on with it. So yeah, I like the motorway idea. It's so true though, isn't it? It's so true that, and I think that's the difference with athletes is they are so driven, so focused. And I would imagine after the event, you're allowed to kind of relax a little bit, but then it's the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
And that's another issue that we need to address within sport, because we don't take enough downtime. The program to keep going, because our window of recovery and relaxation is very short.
Right.
We spend 11 months of the year getting prepared.
Whoa.
And then we probably take a month off.
Gosh.
And it's not enough.
No.
But even so, within that month, there's still athletes aren't.
They never really stop, do they? You're still going to be going for a jog up the road, aren't you?
So on one hand, that focus is really good because it keeps us on the straight and narrow, but it comes at a cost.
Yeah.
And the cost is we neglect so much. We don't prepare for what's next because we don't know how to. So as me seeing that constantly with athletes in this day, and even in the workplace, we don't think about what's next because you got to meet deadlines. You guys in your industry, you got to meet deadlines. You've got to feed. You've got to make sure you secure your position in the workplace.
Yeah.
Same with us. We've got to position ourselves in the world rankings. We've got to maintain our status. We've got to satisfy our sponsors. So we're no different. And like I said, it comes at a cost because then you neglect relationships, you neglect your friends, you neglect your kids, you neglect your family. And then you get injured and you're like, oh, I need some help. And everyone's like, well.
They're off busy doing other things because you weren't there. Yeah. It's what they call the work-life balance, isn't it? In every industry, it's the same thing. Absolutely. If you want to be a captain of industry and get to the top, you kill yourself to get there. And then, 10 years later, you retire and it's like, oh, I've got nothing else going on. My whole life was my job, my day job. And it's like, you've got to have that balance for...
Absolutely.
And time for you as well as time for your family. That's the picture in half. Then you've got time for your parents or your friends. Well, what about time for you? And then all of a sudden you go, well, what do I like doing?
Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't know what we want to do because there's so many shiny things out there.
Yeah,
we have very little time to think about what am I actually interested in outside of sport or outside of work.
So, are you still competing?
I am. Not as frequently as I would like, but I still compete because I realize this is a gift that I have and a interest. It goes beyond being a hobby. It's something I want to do.
It's in you.
It's in me. It's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And because of that, I've got rid of a load of things that don't really interest me, but I've narrowed it down to 3 things. I want to run, compete, I want to coach, educate, and I want to talk. Situations like this. Those are the 3 things I've narrowed that down to that I'm okay doing and I realize I'm good at.
I was just going to say 3 things that you're damn good at, and it's like that's your genius, that's your mojo. It's all around the same thing, but it's all about your journey you've been on has brought you to this space, and now you are working in your genius. So every day is your perfect day, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's where I've narrowed it down, and now because of that, all my personalities are on board.
Cool.
They all get a little fix from all the 3 things that I like.
Yeah.
So my ego side gets his satisfaction from competing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the talking side of me gets satisfied, the educational side, and the coaching side gets satisfied too.
Yeah, because seeing people improve is a lovely buzz, isn't it?
So injustices I see within sport, I can address that. I'm not just leaving it wandering in my head. I do something about it.
Yeah, that's powerful. So is there a time when you won't be competing? Do you have like a deadline, or is it a case that you carry on so long as the competitions are out there for the seniors and all the rest of it?
So I won't stop, because the moment I stop, the moment my eating will increase. There you go. And I'm trying to avoid becoming Sherman Clump from the Sherman Clump. So I do it because I enjoy it. It gives me my buzz, it gives my fix, it gives my kicks. And I found over a few years that I've been doing it at this level, in the master's level, it gets other people to get up and realize, wow, you're still doing this.
Yeah.
So other people want to actually go out and do it. I'm like, yeah, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them say to me, I used to compete at school. Well, it's never too late to start.
Yeah, exactly.
Never too late to start.
And it doesn't mean you have to win every race. You don't have to be the best. You can, but just taking part is half the joy.
Just taking part. Just taking part is a gold, silver, or bronze medal in itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
It is. It's just how you view it. It doesn't have to be material. Just setting a project, not necessarily a goal, because sometimes goals trigger people. They're too work orientated.
Yeah.
So by having a project or a hobby to get up every day and do a little bit, it's a gold medal in itself. You can give it that gold medal status.
Yeah.
You're in control.
I love that. You're inspiring me, my darling. It's been absolutely wonderful having this conversation, because it's really interesting. I always thought that top athletes, whether it's tennis players or runners or whatever, are of a different ilk, of a different mindset, because they're just so driven. They must be incredible. They must be very good with their diet and do this. And you've just made me realize that we're all human. We're all in this together. And whilst I've never actually even run 5K, I'm not built for that. I do other things that, I love and I'm made for, and that's why I'm here. And it just, what you've said today will resonate with so many people, understanding what you love, how you go about it, how you can incorporate that into your life, and how we make mistakes, how we fess up, get over those mistakes. I love the fact that you went back and you said sorry to people and you came clean with everybody. And then life carries on, and it does, doesn't it? It does. And it's just beautiful. Thank you so much for the conversation.
Absolute pleasure.
Dwayne, if anybody wants to know more, have you written your book about your story, by the way?
I have written a book. It's called Race Against Me, but I've taken it out of circulation for various reasons.
Okay.
So I will have it republished.
Yes.
And redo things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was writing a book in frustration, and there was a lot of anger going into that, and it didn't represent the sport in the right light.
So we want part 2, don't we?
It will be a part 2.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm just going to let my legs do the talking, go out and compete. I continue to educate through tutorial videos on sport and how parents and voluntary coaches in sport can help teach their kids and people that they are involved in sport with. I feel that education from a parental level is key, because a lot of parents see their kids are interested and they want to learn. So we can do that from the ground up. We can start nurturing our talent in the UK.
Yeah.
And that's when it goes on to the ambition of, if these youngsters are able to navigate themselves through the boyfriend, the girlfriend problems, the drugs and the alcohol problems, once they surface through that and start to blossom up through that soil, then we can start looking at world, European, Commonwealth and Olympic champions.
Exactly.
So there's lots to do, lots to work towards, and this is just the start.
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you because they feel that you would be a great speaker for their organization, is it probably LinkedIn they come and find you, or what's
yes, my website is www.chambersforsport.com. Everything you need to know about me is all on there. So that's where you go.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. And I can see you're in the gym already, so you're going to go off and inspire some youngsters this afternoon. So I'll let you go. But thank you so much for being part of this.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.